Hi everyone, I'm back with another entry in the ongoing The Hand That Feeds HQ's review Advent Calendar 2021, and this time around I am here to review slash comment slash react to Shun Horie's Ao Shigure song included in Sparklu's Daybreak mini album. This is a solo song, so I am pretty excited to see what Shun Horie can pull off alone. And since this is Sparklu, it's also my first time listening to anything from them. Well, I've already reviewed Shoyachiba's Criminal, so this is my second time reviewing something within the Sparklu universe. Let's see what Shun Horie can pull off with Ao Shigure. Cinematic to start off. It's raining, but it is muffled. Ooh! Ooh! I'm liking this. This is acid jazz and it is really melodic. I love the way the guitar enters with some reverb going on in there. It adds a bit of a nostalgic twist to the instrumental. The piano is playing in a jazzy fashion. I wouldn't say it is a jazzy melody, but it is being played in jazzy fashion. You have the start of the song being incredibly cinematic with the rain pouring outside. You know that's because it is muffled. So you are inside of a building while it is raining outside. Something tells me that this is going to be an emotional song, or at least a really melancholic song. Ooh. Stop right there. There's too many good things going on in the same part. So you have organ being played on your right side of your monitors or your headphones. That's a trademark element of jazz music, so you have the organ there. The drums are really nice to listen to. They are simple. The snare drum is leading the way, basically. And then you have Shun Horie going for those raspy, smooth high notes, which may sound like a contradiction, but after you listen to him, you'll understand that his singing tone is really unique. He has a raspy twist to his tenor range. It's not like Tasuku Tanaka. He sounds a bit more honeyed. He sounds more, I wouldn't say smoother, but he sounds a bit more robust. On the contrary, Shun Horie sounds more ethereal, sounds more gentle, a bit fickle. It's really that delicate, his singing tone, but then you have that raspiness at the bottom that makes his performance sound so dynamic. It's really unique to him, and it's basically a singing tone that you can basically send me songs from projects I've never reviewed in which he is, and I can easily pinpoint him just because of how unique it is, his singing tone. It is raspy while being incredibly delicate and gentle as a tenor. Let's not forget he is a tenor, but he is really raspy, so he does have a bit of Tasuku Hatanaka in there. You can't really compare them, but if you had to, he's closer to sounding like Tasuku Hatanaka than he is, for example, to sounding like Toshiyuki Toyonaga or Soma Saito, two other tenors that have a little bit of a different twist to their tonality. Being that Toshiyuki Toyonaga sounds the clearest of them all, while Soma Saito has a bit of a deep edge to his tenor range, and Tasuku Hatanaka sounds a bit rough and husky at times in his tenor range. Shun Horia is more in line with Tasuku Hatanaka in there. It's not the same tone, it's not the same skill set to begin with. The guitar is so good. I can see some influences of Shido in this song, which is always a good thing for me because is one of my favorite bands, and they do have a unique acid jazz sound that has influenced multiple artists over the years, and I can see a lot of that in this song. Of course, it doesn't say anywhere that this song was influenced by Shido, but it does channel those vibes from their music. Good jazzy vibes on the piano. I love the guitar work so far. It really is making me eager to really pick this up and start playing those notes, because it is really sounds fun to play. It sounds really melodic, and it has an elegance that you usually don't have on pop music, because this is of course an acid jazz song, but the lyrics are clearly pop, so you have that as an interesting addition to this song. It's not necessarily acid jazz, it has a little bit extra on top to make it perhaps more welcoming for people that are not big fans of jazz music or acid jazz, because it is a fusion music genre, but also to showcase that Horia can fit both music genres. I was going to stop there, but I need to listen to that part again because I stopped midway through, so that's an issue. I was not expecting him to go to head voice, so I need to listen to that part again. Wow! First of all, I was completely wrong about the music genre in this song. It sounds like acid jazz in the verses, but the chorus is clearly emo rock or Brit rock inspired. I can see a bit of Oasis inspiring this song, which is interesting. I was not expecting the twist between acid jazz to rock. I love the progression in the vocals. I love the way Shun Horia is performing this part. It carries so much emotion. Those little details with the legato, the way he's rising on the scale, really going for that head voice. It's really something that shows how skilled he is. At the same time, he's showcasing that he can add a lot of emotion to the song. He can be technical and he can be really simplistic. If you noticed, up until now in the verses, he was pretty simplistic. Of course, I was talking about his singing tone, and that's because his singing tone is really one of a kind, so I needed to talk about his singing tone. It's that particular. But now that he's past the verses. The chorus is off the charts in terms of quality. The instrumental flows pretty well. It's not overbearing. It's not doesn't cover the spotlight. It actually leaves all the spotlight for Shun Horie to actually go there and showcase how powerful and technical he can be as a singer. And what you get as a result is actually a performance that is worth stopping everything to listen to. Ooh. The rain once again. I love this intermission. Notice how punchy is that bass line. Is basically taking over the instrumental there. Although you do have the organ melodies going on as well. But the bass line is off the charts in here. Really punchy, really sweet, and really low. Ooh, that guitar and that ooh, does that ooh, those ad libs. That's the range I wanted him to tap. Finally, he tapped into that. He went high, he went to those beautiful high notes of his that I love to bits, and it's almost like I was listening to Shota Aoi in the way he tackled those notes. Their range is basically the same, although once again the tone is completely different, and I really find it interesting to hear him tackle those kinds of notes, because most people will not pay much attention to Shun Horie, even within Sparklu, but he's alongside Shuechiba within Sparklu. I must say that the two of them are a force to be reckoned with, and are the core of why this group can sound really good when they want to. Solo wise, Shun Horie shows that he does have the tools to actually be a solo artist. I would love for him to be a solo artist. I've said it plenty of times that I would love to see him as a solo artist. I was expecting that to be announced this year, to no avail. It's a pity though, but he does have the talents to do that. You just listen to him and notice those crystal clear high notes, the head voice that he does without an issue, the raspy low notes that he can pull off. He's not pulling those off in this song, because this song doesn't need those. And then he is adding a lot of vibrato in the endings of almost every word, which is interesting. I don't know if you guys actually paid attention to that section, or to the song and that particular detail. And then you have those ad-libs that he added before the guitar solo that are really, really melodic, really warm, unexpectedly honeyed, which is also a nice feature to have in a voice such as Horie's. So you have all those things making him sound like the real deal for me. Once again, I would love to see him make a solo debut, if ever. So much emotion in his chorus. really, really good. Aushigure is really that song for me. And it wraps up raining again. Or it's still raining, which is nice in terms of continuity to the song, and it means that you can loop it and loop it without an end, and it creates an earworm. It's the second time I see a song within this album to have this kind of composition. It's really interesting as a composition gimmick because you make it so that the song actually is loopable and you won't even notice the difference between the start and the ending of the song. So it makes it more enjoyable to loop and have it basically playing all day long, and you really won't be bothered with noticing that something else was coming after that. Aoshigure is my kind of song. It has a bit of jazz influences going on in there. I would say there's some fusion in there, so you can safely say there's a bit of acid jazz in there. Then you have the chorus that is emotional, so we have rock in here. It's emo rock with a bit of Brit rock influences. I love this. I grew up listening to Brit rock and I am a emo kid. So I do love when songs go the emotional route and you get to have such a cinematic song that really puts you in a specific place. You listen to the music you listen to the sound outside. It is raining, it's pouring down, but you are in a safe place watching this performance, and it actually connects with you, the emotions that are in that song. The chorus is extremely expressive. I was not expecting it to carry that much emotion. Then again, I was not expecting, I didn't know what to expect from a Sparklu release, and much less from Shun Horie as a solo for this specific song. So I am pleasantly surprised. This is a song that I will be having on loop alongside Criminal because it really stands out for its high quality. I like the vibe of the song. It's a bit decadent, it's a bit melancholic. It carries a lot of emotion, and Shun Horie tackled the song in the way I was expecting he would tackle as soon as I listened to the very first notes into this song. He really went for those sweet mid tones, then he went a bit further into his range and fully embraced these high notes with head voice and really natural high notes going on in there. He showcased R&B riffing in a way, and added a lot of vibrato. I was not expecting much vibrato coming from him. I do know that he does that for Vazzy, but I was not expecting that much vibrato to be in this song after listening how emotional it was, as I was expecting him to tap into his higher range. Nonetheless, this is exactly what I like. This is a song that is loungy, is made for rainy days, it's made for autumn. So this is the perfect song for this season. And in a way, it is a song that makes me want Shun Horie to make a solo debut. I already want it, now I want it more. He's really talented, and if you guys actually give him a chance and listen to the music he has been performing, both here with Sparklu, it's a bit of a mixed feeling because Sparklu is usually a happy-go-lucky pop style of Seiyu unit. So if you don't really like that preppier pop sound, you will not enjoy the music in Sparklu. It's often my case. Then you have Shun Horie working with Byte in the Idolmasters Side franchise. He's not necessarily singing in a natural tone there. He's actually performing much higher than usual and in a tone that doesn't flatter him. so that's not a good example. Then you have him in Vezi, and I would say that it is the best example I could give you. It's Vezi, because he's really tapping into his lower range, really robust, raspy, low notes in the middle of those high notes of his. You can also find him in Anthos in the Hanadol franchise, and there he has been mesmerizing everyone with high notes, really crisp, crystal clear high notes that with his basically with his arrival to the group has added a different color to their performances, now able to go even higher and more emotional than ever. So Shun Horie is really talented. This song, Aoshigure, only highlights that further. So I would say perfect song to start off, checking his singing tone, how unique he actually sounds like, because there are very few, I would say there's no Seiyu out there that I know of that sounds exactly like him singing. So right off the bat he has a unique singing tone, and that plays to his advantage if he ever wants to make a solo debut. As it is, Aoshigure is a massive song. I will have it on repeat for sure, because it really is so good, so emotional, melancholic to a really high degree. It has a really tasteful instrumental throughout, and even the changes that are made between acid jazz and emo rock work pretty well. The transition was seamless, shocking in a way because I was not expecting that transition, but it was a seamless transition. You only notice that when you are already there. So that's a really good sign that it was a really well mixed song, with the focus being put on the vocals instead of the instrumental itself. Because you are paying so much attention to the vocals that you barely notice that, well, something changed in the instrumental. Let me check. Oh, now it's rock. So you are paying so much attention to the vocals and the lyrics that are being expressed here, and that you didn't even notice the instrumental changing. This is a really good song, and I thoroughly recommend you to check it if you do have the time and the patience. The song is available for free to stream on Spotify, so if you do have patience, please do check the song. Once again, thank you so much to Naz for suggesting Aoshigure by Shun Horie, song included in Sparklu's Daybreak mini album released in 2021. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next entry.